I'll give all praise, Yahbashim Yashab Bashim Rakakadash. Honor us the men in truth on down regard this truth and knowledge. So we know this truth and knowledge. The one's like-minded, so we can know this truth and knowledge. And the body Yahbashim Yashab put in the spirit. Men in truth on down regard this truth and knowledge, so we can know this truth and knowledge. And like-minded ones who teach this truth and knowledge, so we can know this truth and knowledge. And call holy Yahbashim Yashab Bashim Rakakadash. We give all praise, Yahbashim Yashab Bashim Rakakadash. Romans 13, let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God, powers that are ordained of God. So the Lord sets people in the position of power. You're subject to the powers, man. Because ultimately the Lord set it up where we had to be under subject to them, subjugated to them. Subject, let me see. Definition here: bring a person or country under one's control or jurisdiction. So we under the jurisdiction, control of the ones that the Lord set up, right? Typically by using force. Subjugate.
Subjugate.
Bring under dominion or control, especially by conquest. Conquer, vanquish, defeat, crush, quell, squash. So we're subjugated and subject under the powers, under the rules of the authority. But go back to 13. Whatsoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of God. So you resist that power, you resist is like resisting the Lord. And that they resist shall receive themselves damnation, a consequence. For the rules are not a terror to good works, but to evil. And will thou then be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. So pretty much obedience, man, you know. For he is the minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid. You're going to go 525, 913 of Sirach. Agree with thy adversary while you have the way with him. You know what I mean? Other one talks about fear the one who can stay away from the one who has the power to KILL, man. You know what I mean? Because they're in a position of authority. That's part of that rank structure related to authority, man. We will not get it. Let's finish reading these up. Let's look up that word minister. For a biblical acts definition, to serve, one who serves as distinguished from the master. Let me see. In obedience, subservience to another, who serves, officiates, and distinguished from the master and magistrate. So the word obedience, subservience to another, man. For he is the minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do which is evil, be afraid. So if you do evil, there'll be a consequence because he's in the position of power. You know, Revelation 6 and 4. Edom, the red horse. Has the great sword, man. To take peace from the earth using the great sword. That's Revelation 6 and 4. Genesis talks about by thy sword thou shalt live. The earth has been given to the hands of the wicked. You know, the power has been given to put in his hands, man. Job 9 and 24, man. Which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain. So he's going to use the sword, man. That's his blessing, man. Ezekiel 21 talks about that refurbished sword, a sore slaughter, man. So he's that left-hand side, man. For he is a minister of God, a revenged execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. That's that left-hand side. Part of that is the structure, power structure, laid to the left-hand side. Scripture talks about render to what Caesar is his, render to Caesar what's to Caesar, but render to God what's God, man. So the Lord put position the kings in power, man. Scripture talks about he turneth whatsoever, man. He puts kings down, he puts ones up, he put them down. You know what I mean? So he puts some in the position of power, man. For the most part, we're subject to the powers, man, because the Lord put those, set those in place for us to obey, man. Wherefore, we must need be subject, not only for wrath, but also for the conscience sake. For this is called pay ye tribute also. Tributary, man. Render to what Caesar is his. Give to what Caesar is his. Render to God what's God, man. For they are God's ministers, attending continually upon the very thing. Render therefore to all their dues. Tribute to whom tribute is due. Custom to whom custom. Fear to whom fear. Honor to whom honor, man. And for the most part, as long as it goes conflict or contrary to what the Lord wants, you obey them, man. And that's in a nutshell, man. Owe to no man anything but to love one another, for he that have loved another have fulfilled the law. Scripture talks about love thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul. This is the first and greatest commandment. Second is love thy neighbor as thyself, man. Let's go to first of Peter's. And 18. Servants, be subject to your masters. So you're subject to your masters, man, with all fear, not only to the good and gentle, but also, the frower is the contrary, man. For this is a thankworthy if a man full conscience toward God endure grief, suffering wrongfully. So sometimes you got to endure certain things, man. That could be unfair, not nice. You know, be unjustly even, but you have to, according to Scripture, you have to endure it, man. Doesn't mean it's easy, but that's what Scripture says. Here we go. What glory is it if when ye be buffeted for your faults, ye shall take it patiently? And the operative word is patiently. Patiently goes to tolerating, suffering through the patiently, and with humility. Sometimes these things are not easy, man. But if when ye do well and suffer for it, ye take it patiently, this is acceptable of God. So taking it patiently, suffering through it, enduring. That's the hardest thing, is patience and enduring, man. You know, Scripture says the race is not to the swift, but the ones who endure to the end, man. Paraphrasing. So it's more of a marathon instead of a sprint, man. You know what I mean? Let's go to Matthew 5:25. Agree with the adversary quickly while thou art in the way with him. So when you in good terms with him, in a good position, you agree with him, man. Because if you don't, he has no hesitation to bear the sword in vain, man. He'll use that sword, man, because he's part of that left-hand side, man. Agree with thine adversary quickly while thou in the way with him. Unless any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. So that's that structure, man. You know, officer, judge to the judge, judge to the officer to the judge, you cast into prison, man. You know what I mean? So agree with that, Harrison, because you're subject and subjugated to the rules and the laws of the land, man. You know, because who put them in place? Yahweh Shemir Shah ultimately, man. Sirach 9:13. Keep far from the man that has the power to kill. Why? Because the power and the blessing of the sword is in his hand, man. The earth has been given to the hands of the wicked. Job 9:24, man. What's in his hands? That sword, man. And he'll use it, man. By that sword thou shalt live. You know, by using that sword thou shalt live. Gain assets, resources, different things. You acquire everything by the use of that sword, man. That's the ones in the position of power now. That's why the earth has been given to him. In his hands, the power has been in his hands. And with the power in his hands, using that sword, he would gain all access to all things by using that sword, man. Job 9:24. So keep thee far from the man that has the power to kill. So shalt thou not doubt the fear of death, if thou come into him. Make no fault unless he take away thy life. Presently remember that thou goest in the midst of the snares, and walkest upon the battlements of the city. The battlements of the city pertains to the castle, especially of a fort castle that regularly spaced, square, open for shooting through. A rampart, balustrade, shalak, balustrade, railing support of balusters, ornament, parapet, or a balcony or bridge or terrace. Balustrade, wall, bulwark. Pretty much castles in ancient times where, you know, they had things for where to protect walls, and, you know, where they do battles and they would shoot in between if opposition would do certain things. So the battlements of the city. But the point is, keep thy away from the ones who have the power to do certain things, man, and agree with your adversary while you have the way with them. So cooperation, for example, that police, and sometimes the so-called blacks, young Jakes, man. You know, I mean, you see situations on a day-to-day basis with that. That's a perfect example. This relates to subject to the powers or the government of the powers, man. Let me get that one. Render to Caesar with Caesar. Matthew 22 and 21. Render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar. So things that are Caesar, you give to Caesar. And into God, things that are God's. So how you render to things that are Caesar's, man. This is Caesar's rulership. So anything pertaining to that, you render to him, man. Tributary, different things, man. And when they had heard these words, they marveled and left and went their way. So they pretty much confounded, man. Let me get Revelation 6 real quick. Before that, let me see something. Let me check something real quick. Let's go to Revelation 6 and 4. And Job 9 and 24. And there went another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And that's that sword. Using that sword, he would take peace from the earth. And that they should kill, kill one another. And there was given into him a great sword. So that power has been put into him, man, to take peace from the earth using that great sword. Job 9 and 24. The earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. So let's put in his hands that sword. You know what I mean? Power has been given to him, man. Part of that power is that sword. Through the sword, he would gain access of everything. So he would have power, man. And he covered the faces of the judges, hid them, put them under the veil, under the curtain. The ones that kept hidden, Therefore, if not, where and who is he? So, the ones in the position of power on earth, they've been given to powers in their hands, man. So, this was a short lesson relating to subject to the powers. And basically, it's just good common sense. I mean, so the Lord put, let me see what other one. So let me just find this. Proverbs 21, the king's heart is in the hands of the Lord, and as the river waters, he turneth it whatsoever he will. So the Lord will do as he wills, man. Every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord pondereth the hearts, the minds. To do justice and judgment is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. High look in a proud heart, plowing of the wicked is sin. Scripture talks about man's goings of the Lord, so how can he understand his own way? The Lord directed his own steps, man. The Lord directed a man's steps, man. So everything's controlled of Yahweh Shem Yashar. The thoughts of the diligent tend only to plenty-ish, but of every one that is hasty, only to one. Loss goes into his mind, getting of the treasures, while lying tongue is vanity, tossing to and fro them that seek death. The robbery of the wicked shall destroy them, but because they refuse to do judgment. The way of a man is froward and strange, but as for the pure, his work is right. Better to dwell in the housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. So the point is, I just read on now, but the point is, the Lord controls whatsoever, man. The point is in Proverbs 21:1. Psalm 75:7. For God is the judge; he put down one and set up another. He put one and set one another. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, sometimes vice versa. But the Lord controls who's in the position of power. So I hope this helps. I want to give all praise Yahweh Shem Yashar Bashem Rakakadas. I hope it helps whoever listens. So what? This is Ayah Wolf. I hope it helps. Shalom.